Hi, this is my first YouTube video, or the first video I've ever uploaded to YouTube. And what it was, I bought uh, Junghans, which is spelt with a J, as it's a German clock. I bought a clock, a Westminster chiming clock. The movement. Ignore all the mess in the kitchen and everything in the background, that's just one of them things. Right, as you can probably see, it says in the, let's see if I can try and get it, Junghans, which has Ungans over the top, the J in the middle, and then there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-sided star that says Wittenberg underneath, and you may be able to see, if I just move the pendulum over to slide a little bit, slightly for you, you might be able to see it says B32. Now I believe, from a little bit of research I've done on the internet, that the B stands for the second half of the year. Now I was led to believe that it would be in 1932, but it being a B32, so the second half of 1932. But apparently, for a couple of years, I think it was through 23, 24, 25, 26, 19, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Apparently, they reversed the numbers for some reason. So this clock is possibly the second half of 1923. Now maybe some clock expert might watch this, but I'd love to know. But either way, it's definitely dated between the second half of 1923 and the second half of 1932. But I have some good information on, I forget which site it was, it could be second half of 23. Anyway, it's a lovely movement, as you can see. In another video, I'll post the front of the clock so you can see the face and the case and everything. But this one's just why I've got a little literally on the kitchen worktop. As you can see at the top, it's got sort of like two mounting paws, so it mount the movement to like a wooden sort of fitting inside the case to secure the movement to the case. And then above that is like a sort of you might be able to see it there. I don't know if I'm only using my Android smartphone. It's like a sort of a spiral inside, like on a disc. What it does is on the front of the on the face, you've got a slow and a fast, and using the key, which is like a sort of pocket watch size key, because I've got a two-way key or a dual key. You can adjust, you sort of really fine tune it to regulate it to go between the slow, between a little bit slower or a little bit faster. I've set it so that's exactly in the centre. Then obviously you've got your escapement and you come down to your pendulum bob. And my idea is, I found an app on Android on Play Store called Clock Tuner, and if you set that to auto and all the rest of it, it's saying that this should be running at 180 beats per minute. Now I've currently got it set to just a tad under 160 beats a minute, and I'm losing approximately 15 minutes over 48 hours. So that's my next little job in a second, because you probably notice that there's no chime block, chime rods are blocking them. That's because during shipping, while the clock was being shipped to me, rather than the seller Now, for me, and for basically, had I have seen a photograph of the movement inside, I would have advised him to sort of close these. If you can see, they're like jaws. That sort of lifts up what goes underneath the gong rods. This comes down and closes. And if I just do it for you, this does then was these jaws, if you like, sort of trap the rods and hold the rods in place, and stop the rods from shaking about and vibrating and wiggling about and breaking, snapping. So I'll just push that back up there because that doesn't need to be close. So I'll just push that back up there as far as this will go. Push that down just so it drops like that. Anyway, what it is I'll just spin round for you. Anyway, on your gong block, you've obviously got your four gongs. I'm sorry for about camera wobble and camera shaking. This is just for my own sort of reference, if anything. But if anybody happens to watch this and see this, it might be of some use to you. And I hope it is. But this is me. Basically, when I got the clock, basically, this rod, which was the third rod, which I believe is the note, that's A, that's G, that's F, and that's C. To get your typical. Basically, I've tuned these now. I'll tell you how I did it. It goes A, G, F, C, C, G, F, C. So anyway, this one had snapped. And basically, the rod obviously comes through the end of this block, this side. Sorry, I don't think I was holding the camera right then. Basically, this rod basically feeds through a hole in the block, comes out. Well, when you get a new rod, say like this one for example. When you get a new rod from this one, for example, this one I got from Meadows and Passmore. It comes with your brass screw at one end, and then you've got the rod. And what you do is, if you're very lucky and you're able to get the old one out, because they're notoriously very hard to remove, as you can probably see, the slots do sort of chew up on you, because obviously you've got brass going into, I think it's probably steel, looking at the colour of it underneath. And obviously over the past 80 odd, 90 odd years or whatever, well, they just become very hard, and when you use your flat bladed screwdriver to get these, they just sort of round. Anyway, I was lucky enough to be able to unscrew it out, and basically what happened was, in transit, while it was being shipped to me, this rod had snapped off its brass screw. And as you can probably see, it's it tapers to the end, so then it can fit through the holes on the block, and so that the rods themselves don't make any contact with the block. So then, obviously then there's nothing touching the rods, and the rods can sustain. They can ring out a nice pure long note without being cut short or rattling or anything. Anyway, it had snapped, so I ordered a new one. And let me just find it. And basically, what happened was, which one's that now? Let me have a look. See, I've got that many things about, so I don't know I'm coming or going. No, I appear to have lost a rod. I Don't know where that's gone. No, right. Anyway, basically what I did was I held, I'm sorry for whittling, I held, as the rod had snapped at the brass screw, I thought, oh, it's going to be dead easy. I thought, I'll order from Meadows and Passmore. It was this. Part number 0387001415, and it says Gong rod bronze, 344mm long, and I believe they're about 2 point something millimeters thick. So I thought, right, okay, so obviously the longer the rod, the lower the note, the shorter the rod, the higher the note. That's the way it works. Anyway, but basically I got a new rod, and I held the old rod straight up to the fitting like that, and thought it would just be a simple case of snipping it to the correct length, because obviously with it being made of the same material, being exactly the same thickness, the taper at the ends as you can see, and they're exactly the same thickness, I will end up with exactly the correct note that I need. It with the same note as the other. Anyway, so I was completely wrong. So for about a fortnight, because I don't like moving the clock and disturbing it, it's been chiming away terribly out of tune, out of pitch, and I am an organist, I'm a musician, so I don't think that's helped. I think, because I like things in perfect pitch and in tune, it's really annoyed me. So basically I've just allowed the clock to run down and whatnot so I can make these adjustments. Anyway, I found another, rather than, because I've got an organ in the living room, but obviously I can't bring the organ into the kitchen to try and tune up these gong rods. So I found another app on Android on the Play Store called what's it? Oh, I should have written it down. Piano